All right, factoring by grouping is something we can do when the GCF is not easily visible and you have four terms. For example, this 3x squared minus 6x plus 4x minus 8. We can factor by grouping. If we look at the groups individually, 3x squared minus 6x, we can factor out a 3x, leaving me with x minus 2. Looking at this 4x minus 8, we can factor out a 4, leaving me with x minus 2. And now you can see the greatest common factor of x minus 2. So here we have 3x times x minus 2. Here we have 4 times x minus 2. So my greatest common factor is actually that x minus 2. And if I divide or factor it out, that would leave me with this 3x plus 4. Next problem, x cubed plus 3x squared minus 5x minus 15. If we look at these groups, here we can factor out an x to the second, leaving me with x plus 3. Here we can factor out a negative 5. Remember, negatives divided by negative are a positive, so if we factor out that negative 5, that would leave me with x plus 3. And again, we can see our greatest common factor. And if we factor out that x plus 3, that would leave me with x squared minus 5. Now, these bottom two problems, you factor the same way with one additional step, just like we learned previously. If we can factor out a greatest common factor, we need to do so. If we're looking at this 16y to the fourth, this negative 40y to the third, and this negative 12y squared, and this 30y, you can see that those are all divisible by 2. You'll also notice that they all have a y, so we can actually factor out a 2y first. If we factor that 2y out, that leaves us with 8y to the third minus 20y to the second minus 6y plus 15. Now, looking at what we have left, we can again factor by grouping. If we look at this first group, we can factor out a 4y to the second, which would leave me with 2y minus 5. If we look at this second group, that negative 6y plus 15, we can factor out a negative 3. Negative 6y divided by negative 3 would give us a positive 2y. 15 divided by negative 3 is a negative 5. And again, now you can see that greatest common factor of 2y minus 5. If we factor that out, that leaves us with 4y squared minus 3. Now, don't forget that we did factor this 2y out of the initial problem. This greatest common factor is still part of the problem. So if we're looking at the factors of 16y to the fourth minus 40y cubed minus 12y squared plus 30y, it's this whole thing. This is the factored form of this problem. I'll do another one of those. So if you look at 3ab squared plus 6b squared minus 12ab minus 24b, if we look, these are all divisible by 3. You'll also notice they all have a b term, so we can factor out a 3b. So if we divide out a 3b, that leaves us with a b plus 2b minus 4a minus 8. And again, looking at these groups, we can factor out a b, leaving us with a plus 2. Looking at this group, negative 4a and negative 8, we can factor out a negative 4, leaving us with a plus 2. And again, that greatest common factor becomes visible, so we have a plus 2. If we divide that out or factor that out, then that leaves us with b minus 4. And don't forget our initial greatest common factor of 3b. Those are b's, not sixes. But that would be the factored form of 3ab squared plus 6b squared minus 12ab minus 24b.